we should probably do a little tribute to the Deep Dive 5, as it's now in the past tense.
Yeah, we should do.
What's your favourite moment of the Deep Dive 5? That long treasured legacy.
In the 10 episodes we did.
We did, yeah.
I don't know why, but the thing I can remember most is the Natalie Portman episode.
Why? Because
the realisation of just how dull her career has been.
Hello.
Yes, one credit after another.
No, I've just said that.
Okay.
Sorry. Hello, I am Sam.
And I'm Ian.
And we welcome you to the debut episode of One Credit After Another, a show where we dive into the career of a filmmaker and their latest film or TV show.
It's basically the Deep Dive 5.
So,
but
yeah,
reworked
for
Deep
clarity,
Dive 5.
we have basically taken... I mean, what was the band? The One Credit After Another is a bit like New Order to Joy Division.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically the same, but slightly different.
Slightly different.
Yeah.
Slightly better, I hope.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
We prefer the title because Deep Dive 5 it always just sounded like a boy band.
See, I always thought it sounded like a porno.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't it?
Should we crack on with the first?
There's episode
filmmaker.
1.
Yes.
11. But episode 1.
No, just take away one of the ones. Anyway, the great Daniel Day-Lewis has a new film out called Anemone.
An enemy.
We have been struggling to say this.
Yep. We had to watch the trailer.
We did.
An enemy.
Do you know what it is, an anemone?
No idea.
It's a flower or a plant.
Okay.
And
Red Dead Redemption 2?
I don't remember it being.
Yeah, I think it's in Red Dead
Is
Redemption
it really?
2. I think so.
When are we going to talk about that game in depth?
Writer's Flock.
Very true. A film he stars in called Anemone was directed and written by his son, Ronan Day-Lewis.
It just reminds me of like...
you know at the end of The Simpsons where the itchy and scratchy character has to go back to his planet and dub it. That's what I feel like we should have done with Anemone. I need to go home now. So yes, the film is directed and written by his son, Ronan Day-Lewis. It is Daniel Day-Lewis's first film since the acclaimed Phantom Thread.
This is also written by Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis is a writer's credit, isn't he?
Has he written a film before?
Don't think so.
I could not see it.
Not that I could see.
Yeah, it sounds like a bit of a passion project between father and son, which we will dive into a bit later on. The film's premise reveals a man visiting his estranged hermit brother named Ray to ask him to come home. So a fairly simple premise that leaves a lot open for discussion. The film has its UK release on the 7th of November and has received mixed to positive reviews from critics. It's already been released in America.
It's doing the festival circuit, right? Because over in the UK,
yes.
it technically doesn't have a wide release yet, but it is going to be at the BFI Film Festival.
Oh, you going?
No, they're all sold out. I tried to.
For God's sake. Mr. Ian, what is your opinion on the career of Daniel?
Are we on first name of Daniel? Not Sir Daniel. You called me Mr. Ian, but Sir Daniel, the guy that actually has a knighthood, is just Daniel.
You didn't let me finish the question. What is your opinion on the career of said Daniel? And do you think his son Ronan will stoke the flames of nepotism in the film industry?
Oh, it's such an interesting question for episode 1.
Yes,
of our
I tried.
of the reworked podcast.
One credit after another.
One credit.
We have to keep saying it because then it will iron out. Try not to say one battle after another.
Yeah, one credit after another. One credit.
Which is a great film, by the way. I mean, I'll just throw that in there. I've seen it. It's very good.
Our last episode of Deep Dive 5, we contemplated the idea that this is probably going to be one to watch. So I feel vindicated.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the literal title of the last Deep Dive 5. Great.
So we were talking about nepotism
band,
in the film industry, and you can't help but
it's been in the film industry since the dawn.
Yeah, it's something that isn't new by any way, shape, or form, but it is something that sparks conversation, sparks debate.
Well, it's because someone wrote an article about nepo babies, and I think that kind of reignited the both the good and bad, I would say, because there's so many good examples of nepotism. I mean, straight off the bat, you've got Michael Douglas and Ben Stiller.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. What's your personal favourite Nepo film person?
Well, I mean, again, to throw us back to the Deep Dive 5, I think episode 2 is Jamie Lee Curtis. This is the only promotion of our show we've ever done, and it's now we've changed the name.
One credit, this is also nepotism, because one credit after another is obviously the child of the Deep Dive 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're carrying on the trend.
We're just like that. It's basically such a ranker. The show about ranking things is pointless to discuss then, essentially, is what we're saying here. I think there's two ways to kind of explore it. I don't really fall on either side of the fence on it because I don't know enough about it.
It depends. It depends on the result, I think, and I suppose how they get there.
Yeah.
Like if you're Michael Douglas, who like produced One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and won an Oscar, and then won an Oscar for acting 10 years later, I think you kind of earn your own judgment, I suppose. But then there's obviously other...
Well, and that also then sparks... Sorry, before we get on to the next point, that also then sparks the idea of, is it harder for Nepo babies?
Well, true.
They have to basically prove themselves compared to winning the lottery of a film role. You know, I suppose that's the argument, is you're comparing a scenario in which every card is against you as a Nepo baby because people want you to fail. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. But then on the other side of it, is you're given opportunities that otherwise most people would consider winning the lottery. So it's like, where do you sit on that? You know?
Yeah, it's a win-lose situation.
Yeah.
And it's not just the film industry. Nepotism is literally
everywhere,
in every walk of life.
Yeah.
But I think, you look at it in the sense of you get given the opportunity to do well, but then that's the good. But then you've also been given the opportunity to do well, which is the bad.
Yeah.
So it's this. I mean, for them, it must be a constant sort of oohing and ahhing about their place, I suppose. Because there's Jack Quaid. I think he's brilliant.
Oh, Jack Quaid's great.
And he kind of. I suppose that's the other thing. It's how they approach it.
Yeah.
Because he kind of owns it.
Well, he also oddly when he went into when Jack Quaid was in the industry, not many people would have gone, oh. You know who that's the kid of? Like Jack Quaid started doing stuff, and he was in like some really kind of. I remember just before COVID, there was a film came out called Plus One that he did, and that was a great little film.
Yeah,
you know, it wasn't like he was arriving on the scene in like a massive blockbuster like Clint Eastwood's son.
Yes,
Scott Eastwood turned up in like massive action genres and stuff, and you were like, well, hold on, you pretty much have just been picked up and dropped into this.
Yeah.
Whereas you compare it to say Jack Quaid, who started small. He started on a TV show, or he started doing the smaller independent movies. He's now just done Novocaine, which isn't exactly, you know, a blockbuster movie or anything like that.
It was good.
But he's going to go off and he's going to do these like interesting projects and kind of prove himself here and there. I think the same thing is for Wyatt Russell.
Yes.
I think he can do interesting stuff, like the stuff that he's done in the Marvel universe and stuff like that. But
I suppose they have to try to avoid becoming copy and paste versions of their parents.
Yeah.
Because you look at Wyatt Russell and he did a film about D-Day called Overlord, where it's D-Day mixed with zombies in a French town.
Oh, that was good fun, that film, actually. I forgot about that.
And he's just essentially Kurt Russell in the 80s.
But the other side to that is I saw Wyatt Russell in Richard Linklater's Come Get Some, which is the 70s based Richard Linklater movie.
Yeah.
You know? So in theory, he did start off doing other stuff that perhaps isn't very... And also, Kurt Russell's done so much stuff. If you typecast his son, it'd be like, oh yeah, well, Kurt Russell did that in this. Well, of course he did. Because he's had an insane career.
Yeah.
You know? So you can't really get away from that. I do think there's an element of like proof. I do think there's an element also, though, of being like, oh, it's X person's son. And you don't know, like, so many like actors, for instance, have their, you know, have what should we say? They have other ventures that can push their kids. So it's like, well, they're not in the same film as me. Well, no, but you own the production company that just so happens to be funding the film that they're in. So it's like, well, you know, there's other ways around it.
I mean, for every Kiefer Sutherland, there's going to be like a Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, because that's obviously the other side of it, where it's like there's other elements.
Like, because I think a lot of people of our generation wouldn't even know who Donald Sutherland is, but they know like Jack Bauer and how big that was in the 2000s.
Oh, I think Donald Sutherland had a bit of a resurgence with things like the Hunger Games
That's
and
very true,
stuff like that. And I think his voice is very iconic. I think I do think the Dakota Johnson thing's an interesting one though, because I don't think many people would know that she's a nepo baby.
Oh, I think they would.
I don't think so. You think a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, Dakota Johnson from Madam Web and 50 Shades of Grey, all those great blockbusters. But she's like, her parents were pretty much retired for years. They weren't exactly at the front of anything. The most famous part of Dakota Johnson was her stepdad, more than her actual parents.
What, Mr. Banderas?
Yeah. So, like, from that standpoint, I think like it's an interesting scenario. The thing that surprises me the most is when someone comes out of the woodwork that has a relation that happens to be famous. We're like, well, that was weird.
Yeah, like Peter Capaldi's nephew. What's his name? The famous Scottish singer.
Is that actually his nephew in the end?
I think so.
I thought they ended up not being related at all.
No, they are related. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You just have
a lot
strange...
of the time they do the clever thing of changing their name.
Yeah.
With the most, I was about to say Charlie Sheen then, but obviously his dad is also Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
So that doesn't count.
Technically his brother, I suppose, changed his name, but no, his brother had.
No, Emilio,
they changed their name. Emilio Estevez had his original name, so it's like. Have you watched the Charlie Sheen documentary?
No, but I was about to bring that up.
So this is the other side of it, where it's like Charlie Sheen goes. It's not the best documentary in the world because it's basically just almost like a surface kind of let's say review of his life, which then allows him to tell the story from his side of things. And he goes into he is a bit remorseful, and he goes into stories that obviously haven't been in public or anything like that. But it's not. It's so surface, and it's very much like we've done that point. Let's move on. We've done that point. Let's move on. It doesn't really kind of dig underneath the surface as much, and his dad and brother aren't in it. Like other people are in it.
Yes.
Sean Penn's in it. There's a lot of people around him that's in it, but like his dad and his brother are in it, which they've always been his biggest supporters. It's a bit weird not to hear that other side of the story. But Charlie Sheen describes it as almost like because his dad, like they had quite humble upbringing. I think that's another thing about nepotism and nepo babies is that nepo kids of a certain generation actually lived quite normal lives.
Yes.
Like they didn't live in like massive mansions or anything like that. It was like they just lived on a street in California.
Yeah, like Robert Downey Jr. and Charlie. The Sheens. Who was the other Sean Penn?
Sean Penn
and Chris Penn.
Yeah. They were all mates and stuff growing up and that.
Kiefer Sutherland, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but they lived in. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was nice houses in like a suburb of. But Beverly Hills didn't exist at that point. Like it was just part of it. Like it was all being built, so they didn't need mega mansions and stuff like that. They were all just on a famous street or something like that, right?
None of the fathers of those people were like. They since then have got huge legacies, but they weren't like Paul Newman. They weren't like making enormous films. I think Martin Sheen wasn't famous until the 70s when he did
Apocalypse Now,
Badlands, and then Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, and even then that wasn't great times for Martin Sheen. Because then that's when he like fell into
nervous breakdown.
Everything else, yeah.
I was fascinated actually. I heard that Charlie Sheen, he would like make little films, and then he went to the Philippines to watch his father record or film Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, and basically Charlie Sheen basically saved his life.
Yeah. He took props and like made like these like horrible films because obviously there was like so many like destroyed body props.
Well, Charlie Sheen describes it in the documentary as I've seen my dad die on screen hundreds of times. Like I've actually seen my dad die, whereas not a lot of people see that. And it kind of sparked like weird things because he goes through like different parts of his youth and growing up and stuff like that kind of all led to him feeling this sense of untouchable.
Yeah.
And that I can just keep going forever and so on and so forth. And the reason why I bring that up is because I wonder if that kind of links to the nepotism stuff where there's an element of too big to fail or I can just do this because I can do it.
Well, I suppose the common thread of all the actors we've just mentioned, they all essentially fell into addiction.
Yeah.
And were kind of burnt out by the time they were in their late 20s. And then obviously some made enormous comebacks like Kiefer Sutherland with 24, Robert Downey Jr., Charlie Sheen to a certain extent with 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting how it kind of... Do you think that's nepotism where they are afforded the opportunity later on to return? Or do you think that's the credit that they gained in their younger careers?
Well, it's the net, right? Yeah. Like the argument is it's the net that can catch you. versus if you burn out and don't have any connections in the industry at all, very rarely will you be able to be pulled back into it again.
Do any of these actors hold a candle to Daniel Day-Lewis?
No, I mean, this is then a different scenario altogether, right? Like, for this to be an opportunity for us to see Daniel Day-Lewis act again,
yes,
in a weird way, you're like, well, yeah, okay, I'll take that any opportunity I can to do that.
I mean, we'll talk about the Anemone a bit later on, but first secondly, I should say, we'll discuss Daniel Day-Lewis's career in acting. Daniel Day-Lewis established himself as an actor by attending the Bristol Old Vic Theatre's School for 3 years before performing at the Bristol Old Vic itself. Have you ever been there?
I have not.
I did not realise the extent of famous people that have been to or have performed there. It's basically every actor that's like Shakespearean you could ever imagine. Kind of got their chops in this theatre. During these years, one of Daniel Day-Lewis's teachers said, quote, "There was one performance in particular when the students put on a play called Class Enemy, when he really seemed to shine, and it became obvious to us, the staff, that we had someone rather special on our hands." End quote.
Do you reckon that's a hindsight thing?
Everyone
says stuff like that in hindsight.
But it does sound like the start of, like, I don't know, with great power comes great responsibilities. Day-Lewis made his film debut in the Oscar-winning Gandhi in 1982.
Did you say debut?
Did I say debut?
You said debut.
Oh,
Debut. I can't let that slide.
Well, the power of editing, my friend. Day-Lewis made his film debut in the Oscar-winning Gandhi in 1982, before becoming a household name with his performance in My Beautiful Laundrette. Do you know who directed Gandhi?
I don't know who directed it.
Sir Richard Attenborough.
Really?
Who would become famous. He was already quite famous, but he played John Hammond in Jurassic Park.
Do you know who directed My Beautiful Laundrette?
I actually don't, but I think... Oh! Is it... Stephen Frears?
It is.
It is Stephen Frears.
It is Stephen Frears.
Yeah. Acclaimed as one of the best actors of all time and has claimed 3 Oscars during his career for My Left Foot, There Will Be Blood and Lincoln. Is he still the only actor to claim all 3 Best Actor Oscars?
Yes.
Because Jack Nicholson has 3, but one of them's a supporting actor. So Daniel Day-Lewis is the only one to win the big 3, I suppose. One of the most famous examples of method acting, Day-Lewis is known for his devotion to his characters and will remain so for the entirety of production. Day-Lewis is also known for his lack of public necessity and his rarity of roles. For the 21st century alone, he has only appeared in 7 films. Day-Lewis announced his retirement from acting after 2017's Phantom Thread, before making his surprising return in this year's Anemone. So, we have a list of all his sort of like big films that he's made over the years, all from Gandhi to Anemone. What's your opinion on these films, Mr. Ian? And I mean, it's pretty damn good, isn't it?
So, because he's so selective about what he's done, he's very much
only later on.
So this is the thing that's probably the best place to start. He's quite prolific in the 80s and 90s.
He is.
In terms of what in terms of the movies that he's in and what he gets up to. A lot of it is drama.
Yes. Period pieces.
Yeah. And so because of that, I know this is going to sound odd and so millennial of me, but I find a lot of that early stuff quite inaccessible.
Yes. I mean, I think when people think of Daniel Day-Lewis, they're specifically thinking of Gangs of New York after, with the odd appreciation of My Left Foot.
I think of it the other way. I think of the other way round. I don't immediately jump to a Daniel Day-Lewis because there's always that part of me that goes, "Oh, we're going to have to sit through the unbearable lightness of being here," or something like that. Which I did. Like it was like I remember when I got onto the Daniel Day-Lewis train early in like how can you not, right? Daniel Day-Lewis was always known as one of the best actors of all time before There Will Be Blood. And so you kind of, as part of your kind of education into film or something like that, you kind of pick up his stuff early. Now the problem is then you pick up all those movies when you just don't appreciate it. If I went back and sort of looked at like most of these films now, I'd go, yeah, that's great. But I do remember watching things like The Last of Mohicans and thinking, wow, this is a long movie. I remember watching In the Name of the Father, and not really being able to gel with it and vibe with it because I didn't know the history of what it was that they're depicting in the movie. So because of all those things, I watched it at an age which I can't really appreciate it. So I have that default going in. I think where we've been lucky is that then I've been able to then watch Daniel Day-Lewis in more modern stuff as he recreates himself a little bit to the times. And I suppose that's where you could argue Method Acting being really interesting because it's timeless in a sense. Yeah. It doesn't rely on like an old method or a new method. It is the method in some essence, you know. But I think because of that, then, you know, the stuff then that we remember him for is such a weird dichotomy to that early stuff.
Okay. Do you prefer old or new Daniel Day-Lewis? What's like the cut-off point? I always feel like the Boxer is like the end of one era.
Yeah.
And then you go into sort of like his sporadic.
When he's able to be selective, you then see some really interesting stuff. So, I mean, within like 20 years, he's done like Gangs of New York, There Will Be Blood, 9, Lincoln, Phantom Thread, and Anemone. That's not a lot of movies.
No.
So, but they're all, well, we don't know about Anemone, but like everything else, you kind of sit there going, okay, like that's a choice. Like he's chosen to do, like he wasn't like boxed into that role. He wasn't like kind of forced into anything. Because when you see interviews of Day-Lewis, you can obviously tell that he's a shy guy. He doesn't like doing promotion work. He doesn't like doing that. Very rarely does interviews. But when you do watch him, he's a very normal guy.
Yes. He's almost boring.
Oh yeah, like surprisingly, he just likes the job. Like but he likes it as a job. You know.
He's a actor, not a film star.
Yeah,
kind of approach.
Yeah, I find it fascinating to see the difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
So you can't ignore his iconic. For me, as a film fan, and when I start picking up films, you're looking at the 2000s, right? Every film then he's pretty much been in, aside from 9, has been insane.
What would you rate as his best decade?
I don't think you can just class the latest ones as. I mean, technically.
Well, no, because I would say 2010s.
What's that? There was what 2009, 2007. I bet his best film is Phantom Thread, which is 2017, 2018.
Did Lincoln and Phantom Thread
in
the 2010s? I think that's like astounding.
Yeah, considering that's one of like the 3 films he did.
Yeah.
In that decade, then that's fair enough.
You could argue the 2000s, but then you did 9, and we have mixed feelings about the actual film of Gangs of New York.
Yeah,
even though he's very good.
So I tell you what, the thing for me is, and I don't know if this is a controversial opinion or not, Daniel Day-Lewis is too good. Like he's too good to the point then where
it's distracting. It's
not just distracting, but he really shines a light on how bad the rest of the cast are. Or at least the fact that they are not anywhere near as good as him. Yeah, and I have to shine a light on Gangs of New York for this. So I rewatched this a few weeks ago, and I gave myself to it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go. Let's just watch this. And you're watching it, and you're going, Bill the Butcher, great. Why is everybody else in this putting on a fake accent? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's so distracting that I'm like, how can you have Bill the Butcher over there, and then how then on the complete other side of it? At what point? Like, is it fair that Scorsese put Cameron Diaz in the same movie as Daniel Day-Lewis? Is that actually fair?
Cameron Diaz was like a big name.
But I know, but I suppose in terms of like, and this is no slight against Cameron Diaz. I love Cameron Diaz. But there's a part where you're just kind of like, you have to know what your cast is doing. You have to be able to, like, if you say, for instance, if you then compare that to something like There Will Be Blood, right? Paul Dano is an amazing actor. Mm-hmm. He's an amazing actor. Phantom Thread, Leslie Manville, amazing actor. These people feed and react off of amazing actors because they learn and they develop and they do amazing things. I don't see that with Gangs of New York. The thing that I can see in Gangs of New York is Leonardo DiCaprio sitting there and just taking it in and going, I can't do the beach again. I can't. I can't. I've got to grow up. I've got to be a better actor. And so all it is, it's just 2.5 hours of DiCaprio just eating up everything else, like anything that Daniel Day-Lewis can throw out at him. And that's what I've kind of realised with a few of these things, is that, like, you can be too good.
Yeah, it's like the Gary Oldman effect.
Yeah.
That you have him in, like, Dracula acting opposite Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. And you just think
like,
to yourself,
it's just, it's so, you can't focus on the scene because it feels like two different characters.
you're watching a different film.
Yeah.
Like, you're watching people point a camera at two different films
Yeah.
and splicing them together. And it's like, it's really distracting. And another, Gangs of New York is one of these things. I watched 9. Aside from the fact that I didn't know it was a musical going in. That surprised me, put it that way. But I had the same feeling. I was sitting there going, okay, right, so these are just... Nine's a weird movie. I didn't hate it. I was baffled by it. What it just feels like something I say a lot on these podcasts is I'm completely and utterly baffled.
Would you like a category called Ian's bafflement?
Ian's bafflement, and one of these will be 9. And I kind of sat there going, I mean, this is a choice, right? But like, Rob Marshall's not the best director, right? He hit it really lucky with Chicago, and even that's not that great. So everything after that point, I'm kind of sitting there going, "Well, okay, so it's not the director that was putting you into this." And then you're looking at the cast, and you're like, "Right, well, 9 is like strategically made. This is a Weinstein Company movie, right? So this came out, I think, at the time where, I mean, Kidman was pretty big, I think, at the time, or had a pretty good career, Oscar nominated, and all that jazz." But then you've got people like Penelope Cruz, just won an Oscar for Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Yes.
Then you've got French lady.
Sophia Loren.
No. Well, obviously Sophia Loren. I don't really need to say much about Sophia Loren. Oscar winner. But then you've also got Marion Cotillard. Yeah, Oscar winner as well. But then you've got Nicole Kidman, Judi Dench.
Fergie.
Obviously doing everything. But this is what I mean. All of a sudden... But they have no screen time. They're like weird. Obviously, the story is about Daniel Day-Lewis. Guido Contini. It's supposed to be like a play about 8.5 and how that was all made. So the story is about the director and the influences on his life and how they've caused him to kind of spiral out of control, have a midlife crisis. But they're so vapid. All these women just come in and out, and they're not given any screen time. They're just the only 3-dimensional character in the whole thing is Judi Dench, and it's because she's actually allowed dialogue that doesn't either stroke the ego or blame the director for like basically have a shouting match with him. There's no other conversation that happened. Anyway, but then all of a sudden, the most amount of screen time that he has with other actors in this film is Kate Hudson.
Nepotism?
I mean, let's ignore the nepotism of what we were talking about to begin with. But you know when you're just like, I don't hate Kate Hudson.
No, she's fun actress.
But it's not like putting her opposite Judi Dench. You know, Judi Dench and Daniel Day-Lewis up to this point had worked together. Daniel Day-Lewis famously broke down during a performance of Hamlet on stage with Judi Dench, and he walked off the stage and never returned to stage again. He never did anything on stage again after that. With 9, he apparently left a note for Judi Dench saying, "I promise I won't walk away this time," making light of this scenario. But then it's just baffling to me that it's just kind of like, well, then how are you very strategically made a film with Oscar winners for this very reason. It's just like, I mean, we talk about like Oscar bait movies all the time. This is one of those movies. And yet you give then like that whole idea of, you know, is then Daniel Day-Lewis actually too good for a movie like this? Because it's like,
apparently
he
so.
then doesn't, like, you've got Fergie and Kate Hudson and you're like, what?
Well, we'll move on to some of the categories that we have regarding his filmography, and you'll be pleased to know that 9 was ranked from the Empire review page as his least good film.
Yeah.
Worst, yeah, I believe it got 3 stars, and There Will Be Blood is his best reviewed Empire film with 5 stars.
Okay.
So it's quite the rise and fall in a way.
Yeah, I mean, 9, I think, was one of those. Apparently, technically, he retired after There Will Be Blood again, and 9 then brought him back into it. Baffling. All I can imagine is it's like a bit like Anemone. Is that Anemone? That where yeah. A bit like this is that it feels like he's playing in a genre that he's not played in before. And I felt 9 is that thing as well. Oh, let's do a musical. Let's give it a go. Because up until that point, he'd done a lot of drama. He'd done a lot of romantic drama. He'd done a lot of them really intense characters.
Career trends.
Yeah.
So his career trends, as I say, it does feel like it kind of, he really flourishes in drama or biopic or period piece. And then going into the 2000s, he just thinks, right, I'm just going to go nuts. I'm going to do very few things, but what I will do will be like new realms of acting ability.
Oh, it's an unfathomable realms. Like, too good acting. Like, it's too good. Like, as I just said, you can't look at that list and go, oh, yeah, you put a foot wrong here, mate. No, you didn't.
Well, what is his best performance? Because I personally think it's Phantom Thread, which might be a hot take. It's between...
So I personally think that both his best film and his best performance is Phantom Thread as well.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much. And then I think a very, very close second to that will be There Will Be Blood. But
There Will Be Blood's
I
a lot
don't
more
think
dramatic
you can do
commercial, but in terms of just...
But the character and the character portrayal, so Paul Thomas Anderson is doing really interesting things with how far can you push a character or how far can you push a person. Obviously with There Will Be Blood, you're looking at greed and capitalism versus Phantom Thread, which is grief and loss. So you have that like kind of friction, shall we say, within people that someone like Day-Lewis just runs with and just completely encompasses. To say then that one performance is better than the other is to kind of then ignore what he's trying to do with both the roles, if that makes sense. I think they're both trying to achieve different things, but I do think it's also telling that they are both performances that have been that has been Paul Thomas Anderson.
I think Lincoln is also brilliant.
Yeah, I was thinking Spielberg.
Yeah.
I think in a weird way, I do think that Lincoln is his. I think, don't get me wrong, it's still an acting powerhouse, but I do think there is other. I think Phantom Thread is still a better performance. I think There Will Be Blood is a better performance. I even think in some ways Bill the Butcher's a better performance than Lincoln.
That's a big role, Lincoln.
It's like a huge role. Yeah.
He knocks it out of the park.
Oh, he absolutely destroys it. Yeah. It's a walk in the park for him. But yeah, I don't know. It's never my go-to with him. I think my go-to with him is always the ones that I kind of like. I really kind of relish watching Phantom Thread. I really kind of I went back to There Will Be Blood, so I never felt like I gave it the time when I was younger. I sat and watched it, and I kind of let it wash over me. I still think of that year's worth of films. I do think No Country for Old Men is the better movie, but There Will Be Blood is insane.
Yeah. Does Daniel Day-Lewis's career live up to Guy Ritchie's?
Ooh, I do like me some Aladdin.
Oh, I thought you were kidding.
That is it. I don't think the sarcasm comes across on podcast formats.
It nearly took me by surprise.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ignore Guy Ritchie's 2000s. It's one of the greatest
a lot of people did.
Movie runs of all time.
I'm trying to think.
That's a man who's so selective with his career that he nearly killed it.
I don't know. If Rock and Roller came out the same year as There Will Be Blood, I would hazard a guess which film is better.
I mean, it's their constant fight, isn't it?
Okay. Most collaborated director. I believe it's Paul Thomas Anderson, but he did make. No, I think Jim Sheridan actually. Jim Sheridan, he made My Left Foot and The Boxer.
So it's equal.
I think it's equal. He's done 2 films with Scorsese.
Yep.
The Age of Innocence and Gangs of New York.
Yep.
Maybe it will be Ronan Day-Lewis.
Oh, I think it'll be interesting though to see whether he retires again.
Well, I mean, of course he'll retire. Yeah. But he'll come back.
He'll just be a cobbler again. Just want to go off and do something a bit different. I want to be a bit quirky. I'm going
Yeah, 'cause
to
he- yeah, 'cause
be
he
a
made-
binman for 3 years.
He made shoes, didn't he?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a trainee shoesman
Yeah.
in Italy.
Wish I could do that.
That's what you do, right? After you win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to go retire in Italy.
In terms of actors, I'm trying to think who he's collaborated with the most.
Oh.
Has he? Off the top of my head, I'm just trying to think if he's actually. Are there the same people in There Will Be Blood
unless
and
Judi
Fred?
Dench. Judi Dench, he did some stuff on Broadway with her.
Has he ever done a film with Ray
on stage.
Fiennes? That would be.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
wouldn't
that'd be fun. Imagine seeing them two in the theatre.
But that's what an enemy is really interesting, because Sean Bean is a cool actor. Like, he's an interesting.
Love Sean Bean.
Love Sean Bean. But again, it's that fear of being like, is Danny Lewis too good? Like, are we going to see like cracks in Sean Bean? But from the trailer, it doesn't look like it. It looks like they're going toe to toe quite well. Danny Lewis's accent is awesome.
We need to do a Sean Bean.
We do need to do a Sean Bean. The deaths of Sean Bean.
No, he's bringing it back.
Alec Trevelyan.
Don't think he's died for 10 years. Can you believe GoldenEye's 30 years old now?
Unbelievable.
I mean, I don't remember.
It's in cinemas again, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Flop.
Biggest box office success and flop.
Okay. Oh. I've got to say, Gangs of New York has got to be his biggest success. I'll be surprised if anything else on that list made more than... Because Gangs has also had Scorsese and DiCaprio and a very young Stephen Graham.
Right, are you ready? It was Lincoln.
What, his highest grossing movie?
Apparently. $275 million. Then it's Gangs of New York with $194 million.
Is this just domestic or worldwide?
This is the IMDb worldwide performance.
Oh, wow.
Gandhi made $128 million in 1982.
I mean, you could arguably say that that's not really much of a role. He's also in The Bounty with Mel Gibson. He's not in that for very long.
Technicalities. And then $76 million for There Will Be Blood. Because that's what I mean. Daniel Day-Lewis films never make that much money.
No, they don't make money. But they earn a lot of awards.
They do. And then 9 made $54 million.
They're so confident in Daniel Day-Lewis's acting ability that for Phantom Thread, there's not technically a cinematographer.
Oh, God, there's some films that don't even give you... The Ballad of Jack and Rose, a film he made with his wife, who directed the film, made $1 million.
Nice.
Which I believe is his lowest grossing film. My Beautiful Laundrette made $2 million, which is probably a lot of money for an independent
Channel 4
film.
movie.
Yeah.
So that's actually probably earned quite a bit, comparatively. A bit like when you see the Channel 4 logo come up in front of, what's the Danny Boyle, Ewan McGregor, Christopher Eccleston movie.
Shallow Grave?
Yeah, that's a Channel 4 movie as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, the film.
There was their film 4 like 90s, like late 80s, early 90s run is staggering. It's like A24's run.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah.
I looked them up the other day. They're like considered like a mini major now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, slightly off piste. Did you hear about Smashing Machine?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
6 million.
It had a really unfortunate opening though, because it opened against Taylor Swift's new movie.
Yeah, that's
so everyone went, "I'm going nowhere near the cinema."
Yes.
So like that's the thing. It's not like this wasn't even like counter programming. This was I'm going nowhere near it after all of the craziness that was her tour in cinemas. I'm not surprised at all because it's supposed to be an alright movie.
I've seen it. It's good.
Oh, it's good.
I mean, the story is very, very okay.
Okay.
But he's very good in it, I'd say. I don't think it's like Oscar worthy, but he deserves like credit for his performance.
Yeah.
If Daniel Day-Lewis was a film character, who would they be played by? I'm not sure that category works.
Who would be Daniel Day-Lewis in a movie about Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yes, I like that, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean...
Gary Oldman.
Oh, that's a good choice.
It's the only one who could do it. Or Anthony Hopkins in 1998.
See, it's weird because my brain went to Taylor Lautner. No, it wasn't Taylor Lautner.
Sorry, your terrible joke came at the same time the battery.
I know. I was going to say that should have hit harder. Or
no, I would say you have Gary Oldman, and you have
Kellen Lutz,
Anthony Hopkins, Nicolas Cage. you reckon he could do it?
No. I think you'd end up with a really weird mix. Like after Man on the Moon, I think Jim Carrey would give it a good run.
True.
Method about the Method Man.
De Niro, no.
Too old.
Daniel Day-Lewis could do a really good De Niro biopic, I reckon.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought of that, but I'm going with it.
It also depends, like what age. Like Day-Lewis has appeared, like his most prolific filmmaking time. He was pretty young.
Yeah.
You know, so like you could, and to do things like Last of the Mohicans and things like that, you're like, well,
yeah,
that's his career echoes like a mid Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
he's got Last Mohicans, and you got kind of like Last Samurai.
From 28 to 40, he's pretty regular.
Yeah,
yeah, he's making a film like every couple. He
appears
of years.
a lot. Yeah, exactly. He's not like he was like invisible.
And this should be the easiest end of the category, reflecting on his films. Could another actor have done a better job?
No. He's not. He's the greatest actor of all time, right?
Yes, I think I don't want to ever put like an actual thing on that because it's like obviously so.
I mean, it's like ranking things and stuff like that, right? Like who is the greatest actor of all time? I mean, he has the moniker of.
But he has every justification to be in question of it.
He could easily be considered one of the greatest actors of all time.
Yeah.
I think that is how I would work.
But he's got every sort of like thing you need.
Yeah,
you've got acclaim, you've got Oscars, you've got.
It's never a hierarchy, right? It's not a hierarchy. It's a club, right? You kind of earn your way into that club, but that's not to say then that you are the only one, right? Yeah. You are. I think that's the argument, is that you will never have, because it changes all the time. So you will never have the best actor of all time. You will just have a group of one of the best actors of all time.
Yeah,
and that will, depending on where people are in their career or what they've done or anything like that, that will change.
Right. So we will end the podcast by discussing a little bit about their film.
Anemone.
Yes,
Anemone.
The build-up to the film, I think, has been quite limited, as you say, about Taylor Swift.
Yep.
Because she's like dominating not only the music world but the film world. I actually saw, was it The Smashing Machine or was it another film? But I left the cinema and the foyer was packed, and I was like, "What is this? I haven't seen it this busy for a long time." And I spoke to someone there. I was like, "What's this for?" And he just looked at me and went, "Taylor Swift." I was like, "Oh, I see what's going on here." And then I ran away, get away from this nightmare. But yeah, I mean, it's got a very independent feel about it. The film, it does feel like just a little passion project with a father and son, but the father is Daniel Day-Lewis, so it's got like this appeal.
Do you ever get the? I must admit, I get the feeling. My fear of it is knowing some of the buzz around it, or some of the tepid buzz around it, should we say? Yes. Arguably, this might be his most mid-reviewed movie in a long time.
Since 9. It is his lowest reviewed film since 2009.
Blimey.
Which again, he's only done 2 films since then. So,
but I mean, with that in mind, my fear is that the editor of the trailer is making this film look very good. The film itself might not be. Yeah. And so that's what my fear is. I personally would go and see it because I haven't seen Daniel Day-Lewis act since 2017.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a good cast. You've got, as we say, Sean Bean, Samantha Morton.
I think then because of that, unfortunately, this is going to shine more on the light of probably the content itself rather than the screen.
It kind of gives off a very British feel, which I think might be a turn-off for a lot of the critics. So if you like that kind of like maybe gritty,
I'm interested to see what the British critics say about it, because a lot of the reviews came out of Toronto Film Festival.
I think so, yeah.
So we've got BFI Festival this weekend. I wonder whether or not we might hear some British.
Yeah, well, The Guardian
critics.
Kind of slaughtered it.
Peter Bradshaw.
I'm not sure it was Peter Bradshaw. I'm fairly certain it was The Guardian. I think they gave it 2 stars.
Okay. We'll have to. Words to say, Peter Bradshaw writes exclusive. Well, writes. He's the big guy at Guardian. Robbie Collins, the big guy at Telegraph. And then you got Kermode as well.
Yes.
So.
But no, I what are your feelings towards it generally? Then is that
I just find it interesting.
The cast.
I'm hugely open to it. I really hope it gets a wider release, even if it's a small release. I would go to the cinema to see this.
Yeah,
it has that much of an appeal based on Daniel Day-Lewis alone. I'm not too fussed about his son being a part of it. I'm actually less hot on him writing it as well. I'm a bit worried about that. But from performance-wise and stuff from the trailers, I'm kind of like, yeah, this looks actually quite interesting.
Yeah, I'll go into it with an open mind, and obviously you get the treat of seeing Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
It does look like the kind of film I'd enjoy. So
I feel like I'm going to enjoy it perhaps more than
I
others
like, someone like Sean Bean, who I feel like doesn't really appear as like much of a lead in sort of like any films really these days.
He does a lot of TV.
Well, I think the last film I can think that he did of note, he made a film with David Cronenberg's son Brandon, and the name escapes me, but believe it or not, he dies in
No.
it. Which production company or studio made it? It was Plan B.
Yeah.
Brad
Pitt and Jennifer Aniston's money behind it.
Brad Pitt, one of the great producers of our time. I don't even say that sarcastically. He may have done it sarcastic.
His filmography on Wikipedia through Plan B is insane. He's an Oscar winner through it as well, isn't he?
Yes, for 12 Years a Slave?
Yeah.
Their future.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
This would be fun.
The man who retires and comes back more than...
Well, we've discussed...
a boomerang.
We'll go through the categories. What other fields could they work in? We already know. Shoes.
He's a great cobbler.
Yeah, he's a good cobbler.
Yep.
Unlikely collaborations in the future.
I think... I'm not sure unlikely collaborations, but it springboards off of this. I think you're probably getting back from another Paul Thomas Anderson film at some point.
Trilogy.
Yeah.
What about Scorsese? Complete his trilogy. I think Jim Sheridan's retired.
The only thing I would say is, how many films does Scorsese still have?
4.
So he's got 4 left.
I'd like to think there's 4.
Yeah, so if there's still 4 films left, then potentially.
He's definitely.
You could even say Spielberg at some point might come back for something, but Spielberg's not done something since what? Ready Player One?
He's got a film coming out next year about UFOs.
Okay.
Which should be exciting.
I think it would not surprise me if Day-Lewis comes out of the woodwork again for a big collaboration.
I think he will.
I think he will, particularly since Paul Thomas Anderson has just had an absolute knock it out of the park.
I don't think Daniel Day-Lewis cares about stuff like that.
No, but it gives what I suppose why I'm saying that is it then frees up a lot of funds for Paul Thomas Anderson's next project. And while Day-Lewis doesn't probably care about any of that stuff, it also gives Paul Thomas Anderson to have the funds to make a film that he wants to make, which could be, rather than someone who makes dresses, could be, I don't know.
Would you like a sequel mini-series to There Will Be Blood?
No.
Called There Is No More Blood. Using AI. Do you see Daniel Day-Lewis using AI in the future?
It wouldn't surprise me if he owns a laptop.
It's like Christopher Nolan. He doesn't even have a phone.
Nah.
Could they make a film set in Tahiti or Yemen? I mean, if
Daniel Day-Lewis, yes.
If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him.
It's going to be him. Yeah, exactly. It'll be a cobbler.
Okay. Making a cobbler in Yemen.
Yeah, exactly.
While trying to work with oil.
He's going to have a great future. Okay. Daniel Day-Lewis, I see big things in his future.
Oh, I love that. With such a well-respected career... Oh, no, we've already done that bit. Right, that's it. Outro. Thank you for tuning in.
This is a great episode, Mum. We planned this really well.
Thank you for tuning in to the debut episode of One Credit
Anemone.
After Another. We have been talking about Anemone.
Anemone.
We want to hear your opinions on the career of Daniel Day-Lewis. What would you rank as his career highlight? Do you see him working in Yemen using AI? Goodbye, and we will see you soon.
See ya.